Hi, and thanks for tuning in again. This week we had a belated birthday party for my mother, and also I tried another experiment. So what that all is about, you can find out in today's or this week's video. And as always, for now I just say thank you for watching.
As you know by now, I'm doing Weight Watchers, and I'm currently having 42 points per day. I also have a weekly allowance of 28 points, from where I can take points if needed, but also can save up to 4 points per day and put it in there, as well as earn points from physical activities like walking. My personal goal is it to end the week with the 28 points intact. With that being said, let's get started. On Sunday I just had a banana as breakfast, because today was our family feast, the belated birthday party for my mother.
Well, originally we wanted to have my mother over 2 weeks ago, like a little bit belated after her birthday. It was the 12th of April, so it turned out to be like 2 weeks late. 1 week because I was sick, the other week because I had the Fantasy Film Fest to attend to and I couldn't move or resell the tickets because they were not refundable, and I'm a little bit selfish there, so that was happening there. And finally we were meeting to have a nice feast with Schnitzel and asparagus.
Sag mal hallo.
Hallo.
17 points for the Schnitzel and 9 points for the potatoes and the hollandaise sauce. 0 points for the asparagus. Yeah.
By the way, my sister is not missing. She was sitting next to me. I just started filming that small clip a little bit late and she was just heading over to the computer looking something up. So that's it, basically.
Later on I had half a can of Texas Pot, 5 points, and 4 points worth of Dorito dippers to snack along with that. Further, I snacked on 50 grams of Cheetos from a Greek market that actually has the brand because you don't get Cheetos officially in Germany, 9 points, and 3 pieces of the strawberry pepper chocolate that I still have lying around, 6 points. And then, even later that day, I had 2 slices of protein bread, 3 points worth, with 0 points of cold cuts on it. So overall exceeding my daily point allowance already on the first day of a week. But that was about to be expected because it was a family fest. On Monday I had some porridge with a banana sliced into it, and as I used almond milk and stevia, that only cost me 12 points. And then I went for a walk, where I spotted the most weird placement for a park bench I have ever seen. Seems temporary, yet still, those benches are mobile and they could have just moved it. I also spotted another squirrel. But soon lost track of it. Back home I had a salad, 14 points, and then later that evening I had potatoes with sour cream, 13 points. I was still craving something, so I felt like having cabanossi, or let's better say a cabanos, because I only had one of this pack of 2. On Tuesday I started with protein bread and crisp bread and some cold cuts on it for 4 points, and a white choco coconut latte, 5 points worth.
Well, I thought it would have been nice t-shirt weather today, so I ventured out for a few steps. Unfortunately, it's colder than I expected. The wind is making it quite chilly, but it's endurable. I will not go for a big walk though, but will use my late lunch break to just go out to get some groceries, because after the long weekend I ran out of everything that is perishable, so I need to stock up again. And as it is so often the case, I spoke too early, because a few seconds later I was hit by such a cold wind I almost turned away and went back home. And now that I'm recording it, another few seconds later, the sun is coming out. So it's a weird weather, but that's it.
Back home it was a salad again, 12 points. And later it was time again for nachos with cheese dip and jalapenos, 24 points overall. And in the evening I had the second cabanos, 9 points, which again made me largely exceed my daily points. So I had the idea for an experiment, but more on that later. Wednesday I started with crisp bread and protein bread with cold cuts again, 10 points. And I had nothing for lunch, so after my workday ended, I headed out again.
The workday is over, and as you can see, it is really bright outside today. I can hardly see against the sun, you know. And it's the perfect weather to go out in a t-shirt. So I did that. I ventured out for a walk. And I also will try to get some groceries done, especially, of course, asparagus again. I want to check out if there are some nice thick pieces of asparagus around, because last time when we had the feast with my mom, it was like very thin, and to prepare those is quite tough because it takes a long time to just peel them, and also you lose too much substance. So from 1 kilo, maybe you are left with 800 grams if you are lucky. That's actually not what I wanted to talk about today. What I wanted to say is I want to do another experiment this week, because a few weeks ago I had 2 weeks in a row where I was sticking perfectly to my regiment. I was saving all my weekly points and therefore losing 1 kilogram roughly per week. Then I had my cheat day where I was not losing that much, obviously. And the week after I had a week where I was just using a little bit of the weekly allowance and therefore was only losing like 600 grams. As you can see, also the bugs are back. The weather is nice, of course, then everything is creeping and crawling around me. But back to the topic. What I want to find out is basically if that was a coincidence, and it doesn't matter much as long as I stick to my daily regiment, if I use the weekly points or not. So maybe that is just an up and down balance, or if that was not a coincidence at all, and if I stick to it completely and keep all my weekly points, then I might lose a kilo. If I just use half of it, then half a kilo, and if I use all of it, then nothing, which would be weird. But that is what I will try to find out this week, because as you might have seen, I've used a lot of my weekly points this week. I'm aiming to coming out with 0 points in my weekly allowance, so exactly at point there, and see what that will mean for me in the long run. And if I'm still losing weight, then I know that I don't need to be a stickler with those weekly points. But yeah, that's basically what I want to find out. Because if I can actually use those points, the weekly points, and it doesn't make a big difference in the long run and in the overall approach, then it makes my life quite easier, if that is the outcome. So I don't know what will happen, but I will find out at the end of a week. Now that's what I'm talking about. Just look at these beautiful mothers. Wow. So today I will try the test that I've talked about previously, and that is mixing those two sauces and see how that will come out. Because this one is very creamy and has 8 points. This one is more buttery and has 4 points. So mixing that up, so I have enough sauce for today and for tomorrow, I should come out at 6 points, and hopefully with a mixture that is even tastier than each of the parts on their own. And I will go with some leaner meat, which I can use more of than with the schnitzel I had before. So it's schnitzel meat, but it is not breaded. And that way it's only 9 points for almost double the meat, which is half the points of the stuff that I had on Sunday. So let's see how that will work out. I have enough for today and for tomorrow, which is great.
I had 7 points worth of potatoes, 0 points for half the asparagus I bought, 6 points for the sauce, I will only use half of it today, the rest tomorrow, and 9 points for the unbreaded schnitzel meat. also only half of what I bought. So 22 points overall, and the sauce really turned out nice. I'm not sure if it is better than the creamy one on its own, but it sure was not bad at all. Later that day I again had 3 pieces of a chocolate for 6 points as a snack, and 2 slices of bread later for 3 points, and a bag of pork jerky for 1 point. On Thursday the breakfast was 8 points, and then I had the second half of my meat, sauce and asparagus, with less potatoes this time, so only 18 points.
The workday is over and the work week also almost. I just headed out for a nice walk because the lunch I had, the late lunch, really filled me up and I needed to have a nice walk to just digest everything, because it was filling me up so much. Maybe I should also consider that in the future, that I should not, just because it has less points, just overdo it there. I didn't venture out in my lunch break because I had a late lunch and because I was so busy at work, and I was quite productive, so a really nice day. So I'm headed out here a little bit later than I was planning to do, but still it's nice outside, t-shirt weather as I like to call it. It is a little bit colder than yesterday, but still nice, so let's enjoy this. Otherwise, today I just want to end the day with watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because tomorrow, after work, we will watch the 3rd installment, so that will be a nice treat. And that's everything for today.
In between as a snack I had another bag of pork jerky, 1 point, and then a smaller helping of salad, 10 points. Later then I had 2 glasses of banana milk, which cost me 2 points because I was using stevia and almond milk, and a protein chocolate bar that came in at 3 points, instead of the 10 to 15 points a normal chocolate bar has. It was a little bit more chewy and compact, which didn't bother me, and it was also less sweet, which I actually liked. I will likely have more of those in the future. Next morning as breakfast I just had the 2 remaining glasses of banana milk, and as a second breakfast later on I had another cabanos, 9 points. For lunch I just had a can of Pichelsteiner Topf, 4 points, and then for the movie theater I packed myself a bottle of Coke Zero and 14 points worth of Pommels, and I also bought a chicken chili wrap in a store for 13 points, but forgot to film it. And then I was on my merry way.
Hey, I'm off to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And I'm quite psyched because the trailer, the one with the music from Rainbow, really psyched me up. I'm also a little bit worried. I guess someone will likely die. I guess they also psyched us up by giving us the impression that maybe all of them die, which I don't believe, but we will find out. For sure, it's the most anticipated movie for me since quite a while.
After the movie, back at home, I had another bag of pork jerky for 1 point and some soft-boiled eggs, 0 points. On Saturday I had quite a late breakfast, and so I went for a homemade burger. This plant-based sensational Whopper is made exactly the way that they do it at Burger King. If you want to know how to make it, you will find an additional video linked at the end of this video. 15 points.
So after having this sweet sensational Whopper, I thought it was a good idea to just head out and have an after dinner walk. Even though the burger technically was a late breakfast, but who cares? So I'm out here. It is today unfortunately quite bad weather compared to the previous days. It's not sunny anymore, it rained most of the day, and it's getting quite cold, so I had to put on a pullover, but with a pullover it's working out quite nicely. I hope it will not start to rain again. Right now it's okay to walk around. If it will, then I will just head to the grocery stores, get some fruits and vegetables for the weekend, and that's about it. And a quick word regarding Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that I've watched yesterday. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, I just say go watch it. You will not regret it. It's a nice cap to the whole trilogy and it's entertaining. There was no dry eye in the theater, I would say, for different reasons, so check it out. It's a great one. Hopefully when you watch this, by that time also a proper review will be hitting my main channel, so you can just head over and check it out. Hopefully tomorrow when I step on the scales I have something more to tell you and some interesting news, but that's it now. See ya!
Later back home I had another salad for 10 points, and as a snack in between another bag of pork jerky, 1 point. And then in the evening I had a can of Texas Pot, 9 points. And as I liked the protein bar a lot, I tried a different flavor from that same brand, which also came in at 3 points. Which was okay, but the flavor I had with the first one a few days ago I liked better. I then closed the week with 5 points for bread with bacon on it, to use up my remaining points and to meet my experiment's parameters of using up all my weekly points. Or so I thought.
Well, as you just saw in the corner of the video, the experiment doesn't really work out that week because I miscalculated the points. I was planning to have 0 points at the end of the week. I was coming out with 1 point, but due to a miscalculation on Sunday, where I had just written down 420 milliliter of sauce for the schnitzel, which actually just was 240 milliliter, there was a discrepancy of 7 points. So I ended the week with 8 points. Of course, this means that the experiment doesn't really can be counted because the parameters were off. But I have to say I was looking at my weight over the week and it was going up and down a lot. I mean, I have had the most points this week at the first 2 days, and there my weight actually went down. And then when I was sticking to the 42 points, the weight was going up a little bit again. But then on Friday it was down again, and would I have measured myself there, I would have lost a kilo, and now I am back up to just losing 200 grams, which is not that much. But also I have gained a lot of muscle mass and I've lost quite a bit on body fat. So that also needs to be calculated in, and with all those ups and downs, with all those variations, I guess you cannot really make a science out of how many points from the weekly allowance you are using up or not. So what I decided for myself is that I will try to not use them, but if I feel like it, I also will not push myself and bend backwards to not use them, because they are there to be used, and if I have to, if I feel like it, I will. I will not exceed them. I will stick into the parameters of 28 points as it is supposed to be, and I guess trusting the system is the right thing because they created it that way, and why not just use it exactly like it was supposed to be used. So that's me for this week. I think with losing body fat and muscle mass is growing, I guess it was a success, even though it is just 200 grams down. But like I said last week, as long as the weight is going down, everything is considered a success to me. And I hope you also had a successful week with whatever you try to accomplish, whatever you set out to be doing this week. And with the weather also going up and down the same as my weight, I hope that next week will be a little bit nicer weather. So I still plan to hopefully break out the bicycle and get some biking in. We will see. Hopefully that happens. I hope that the next week, for sure, for all of us, will be a successful one. And if you feel like it, then switch back in next week. And until then, I say, as always, thank you for watching. Have a nice week and enjoy.